Well, talk a little more about that. Like, talk, like, first thing that comes to my mind, even if you come up at, 12.5 in the middle of summer, it's still a little cool out, So I can't imagine being minus 50 or minus 60. What kind of gear did you wear? Like, what did you do to prevent frostbite on the way down? And like, talk a little bit about that.
Very cool question because there was real concern about it, and because there was not the gear for skydivers, so we got a one piece quilted suit, layered suit, and had things below it. Ultimately, I usually jumped with an anorak. I jumped with New Zealand climbing gear
Okay.
because and mountaineering boots. The whole triple layer boots or double layer boots, whichever one I was wearing. But for the South Pole jump, we all had red suits on and plenty of layers underneath. So we're wearing wool and ripstop nylon. There was no Gore-Tex
Sure.
back then.
Right.
And so we had Dockstein gloves. They're worsted wool. They're all like 3/8 of an inch thick. It's a mitt. Ridiculous. I'm telling you, ridiculous. Plastic glove into that and an outer layer over that, over the Dockstein wool glove. And as long as we had our thumbs, we had rip cords.
That was going to be my next question. Yeah. How did you pull your rip cord?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a rip cord. And one of the dangers of jumping in Antarctica is that you have a metal housing for that rip cord that has pins stuck to the rip cord that are holding the parachute together. You pull it out, a pilot ship pops out, and there's a sleeve, and your canopy opens. We were jumping Paracommanders. The Stratostars just came out. Clouds came out maybe a year later. We had one Stratostar. We did not use it at the South Pole. We were testing it. The opening of Stratostars, that's a 5-cell ram air canopy. In the beginning, it was almost like a prototype. It could knock you out. It was such a bang opening that it just rattled people. So we put that to one side, and of course it's been developed since.
Sure.
Because I'm talking 1975,
right?
76, 77. And so we were jumping Paracommanders, high performance canopy, beautiful canopy, steerable and whatnot. So we're on the back of the C-130. And our chief was making his 1,000th jump. So we were celebrating that as a part of this jump. It was the first time we were jumping with navigational aids. So we were watching. It was weird watching, the light. It's red, stand by, green, go.
Sure.
And, but we couldn't get the tail ramp open on the C-130 over the South Pole. It was frozen. So the air crew chief figured out, got the hand crank, and we're hand cranking this baby open. And then you got to understand, the South Pole was sitting just under 10,000 feet of ice thickness from terra firma.
Right.
It's minus 59 where we are in the air, and we're opening up the tail ramp. There's portable oxygen. Paul, my climbing mate and good pal, Paul Deering, and I were the only ones that didn't feel we needed oxygen. We were okay, but we took turns, and everybody's trying to get this tail ramp open.
Yeah.
and as it does, I mean, just the stuff flies, and in the cold, you just suddenly it grips you. Well, I'm number 7 to jump South Pole in the lineup. There were a couple of jumps before. I think one was in 57. An Air Force sergeant did a static line. And then 2 other jumps with Chief Spaulding, who was getting his 1,000th jump. He had jumped. This is his 3rd jump at the South Pole.
Jeez.
And he had jumped with one other guy one time and then a couple other guys. And anyway, it added up there. My number was number 7. I jumped out, twirled. We all were going to go for at least, 5, 10 seconds was pushing it for a free fall because of the altitude and the cold. The first thing that happened, my outer liner flew off my hand, my right hand, and my hand just was like froze. and I was going, oh, I was in a free fall position, turned around, looked where I was, and I was just saying, get your thumb out, just hold your thumb out. And I just popped the canopy. And with the adrenaline, I swear my hand froze and thawed by the time I got down to the ground, to the ice. But it was thrilling.
Yeah.
I mean, it was another jump, but there were uncertainties that came up.
Right.
You see, and that's the nature of being in Antarctica, and it was some of the things that I was able to experience and understand. Once there's no more information, you make a decision,
right?
And you get the information, and you're situationally aware, and you do what you can do. And okay, the tail ramp's not open doesn't mean we're gonna nix the jump. Open the tail ramp.
Right.
And what does it take? Okay, if people need oxygen, feeling dizzy, okay, everybody good? Everybody's good. And there it's open. And
yeah, I mean, it's already an inherently dangerous activity.
Correct.
Now, when you pile on, extreme cold weather and, all that stuff, I mean, it just had to be crazy. I mean,
well, for us, it's like someone saying, well, man, that was really risky. For the people involved, we're not thinking risk.
Sure.
We're not thinking crazy. We're thinking get the objective.
Right.
Get the door open. Objective. Line up. Watch the light. There's just things you don't have time to comment on what's going on. You have only time to pursue the action.
Right.
And you move. And in Antarctica, if you don't move, you're dead.